Human reproduction relies on a continuous, highly precise rhythmic coordination of hormones that resets approximately once every single month. In female primates, this system runs on an average loop of 28 to 29 days, known as the menstrual cycle. This biological clock starts ticking at puberty, marking a phase called menarche. The system continues its monthly rhythm until it ceases entirely around age 50, a transition known as menopause. The regular cyclic repetition of menstruation between these two life events is the primary clinical indicator of a normal, functioning reproductive phase. Every single cycle is dedicated to two synchronized tasks: maturing one ovum and preparing the uterus by building up a dense network of blood vessels. To understand how this works, we have to look past localized organs. This is a system of precisely synchronized communication, linking the brain, the ovaries, and the uterus. This diagram maps the 28-day timeline across 3 layers. The top layer is the pituitary gland, the initial chemical dispatcher. Below is the ovary, where the ovum matures and hormones release. Finally, the bottom layer is the uterus, the tissue undergoing physical transformation. The top tier communicates with the middle tier using specific chemical messengers called gonadotropins, specifically follicle-stimulating hormone, FSH, and luteinizing hormone, LH. While these 3 layers exist in different parts of the body, they are linked by this precise, predictable cascade of chemical signals. In the menstrual phase, days 1 to 5, the endometrial lining breaks down and tissue thickness drops sharply. The resulting liquid exits as menstrual flow, leaving a minimal baseline. During the follicular phase, days 6 to 13, pituitary secretion of FSH and LH gradually rises. Rising follicle-stimulating hormone travels to the ovary, prompting primary follicles to grow. Stimulated by FSH, a primary follicle matures into a fully developed Graafian follicle. As it grows, this Graafian follicle acts as a temporary gland, secreting its own hormone, estrogen. This newly secreted estrogen then travels down to the uterus to stimulate endometrial proliferation. Through proliferation, the uterine lining rapidly regenerates and thickens, building a fresh network of blood vessels. The brain doesn't directly build the uterine lining. It signals the ovary to build a structure, which then emits the chemical that builds the lining. Returning to our diagram, the timeline pauses strictly at day 14. Mid-cycle, both FSH and LH attain their absolute peak levels, with the LH curve spiking significantly higher. This sudden maximum concentration of luteinizing hormone in the bloodstream is known as the LH surge. The immediate mechanical consequence of this surge is the violent rupture of the mature Graafian follicle. This rupture expels the single ovum from the ovary, the defining event of the ovulatory phase. This rupture is an instantaneous mechanical event, triggered the moment the blood concentration of LH crosses a specific chemical threshold. Following ovulation, we enter the luteal phase, spanning days 15 to 28. Our focus shifts to the biological debris left behind in the ovary. The remnants of the ruptured follicle reorganize into a new glandular body called the corpus luteum. It secretes massive concentrations of progesterone, the dominant hormone. This progesterone commands the maintenance of the newly thickened endometrium, holding it at its maximum stable state. This specific stable endometrial state is biologically necessary. The thick, highly vascular tissue provides the exact environment required for the implantation of a fertilized ovum. If pregnancy occurs during this window, all cyclical events halt to preserve this maintained state. Progesterone acts as the critical structural scaffolding, physically holding the entire uterine environment together in anticipation of pregnancy. But this system requires a continuous signal to keep running. What happens without fertilization? Without a fertilized ovum to signal its continued utility, the corpus luteum is biologically programmed to degenerate. As the corpus luteum dies, its progesterone secretion crashes immediately to zero. Without progesterone acting as scaffolding, the endometrial lining disintegrates. The timeline seamlessly loops back to day 1, initiating the menstrual flow of a new cycle. While a lack of menstruation is a primary clinical indicator of pregnancy, it is not the only variable that can halt the cycle. Extreme stress or poor baseline health can also disrupt this delicate endocrine loop, preventing the cascade from completing. Menstruation is a highly regulated, fail-safe cellular reset designed to clear out unused biological preparation and start the entire process anew. Because the physical breakdown during days 1 through 5 involves the expulsion of tissue and fluid, external management is just as critical as internal mechanics. This infographic outlines the core tenets of menstrual hygiene. Managing menstrual flow requires regular bathing and the use of clean sanitary napkins or homemade pads. These sanitary products must be changed strictly every 4 to 5 hours, depending on individual requirement. Used products require exact disposal protocols. They must be properly wrapped in used paper and kept completely out of plumbing systems and open environments. Finally, handling any sanitary products mandates immediate, rigorous hand washing with soap. Diligent menstrual hygiene is an essential component of maintaining a healthy, functioning reproductive endocrine engine.